nakita, no? May mga pinakita sa akin, whether ito yung kung... Basta saka ko na ilalabas yung mga ebidensya, but basically ang sinasabi, nakipagsabuatan si Senator Lacson sa administrasyon para iporma laban kay Jinggoy, kay Cheese, kay Joel, etc. Regardless kung may zero truth, partial truth, or whatever. And then may mga pinagtakpan, no? From masterminds lower. And then iba-ibang grupo 'yon, ha. Wala pa yung wala pa atang 18 noon eh. Yung Marines. So ang inudyukan namin noon ay si Senator Loren. So again, wala naman nagsabing dapat ako, binigay ko sa kanya. Nag-usap kami, sabi niya, alan sana tayong dalawa, no? But kaming dalawa, meaning mag-sharing din kami. So when we were going to execute, dahil may 14 na kami, biglang may mga tumawag at doon po nag-umpisa. Doon ko nalaman na negotiable pala yung mga kaso nila. Kasi tinawagan na yung mga may kaso, huwag nyo lang iboto si Loren, bawiin nyo, hindi na kayo kakasuhan. At yung isa doon, na-witness ko mismo dahil sa harap ko tinawagan yung isang high official at narinig ko yung pinag-usapan. So, we stopped there kasi nga may isa naman, wala naman siyang kaso, yung kunikwento ko sa inyo. Pero nagulat ako, takot na takot, no? And isang dahilan takot, minsan medyo napitik din siya na baka banggitin ang pangalan niya, although he swears wala naman siya. At doon ko nga nakita na grabe ang leeway ni Senator Lacson na kasi may sinabi si Senator Lacson doon na parang hindi, kausapin natin yung mga namamahala kasi yung witness na yan ay hindi credible. Pero pagdating kay Joel Villanueva, yes, pagdating kay Jinggoy, pagdating kay Cheese, eh credible naman yung, well, wala si Cheese ata sa witness na yon, no? Pero doon sa dalawa, or at least kay Senator Joel yung witness na, yung particular witness na yon. So what happened is sometime March, I went to see two people. No, one is someone not in government, very close to the president, and the other one is very, very high official. Basically, ang sinabi ko, sumunod yung mga kasama ko, hindi naman inelect si Senator Loren, kami, tatlo lang ang gusto namin. One, tutukan yung ekonomiya ng ating bansa kasi kahit na hindi inaamin ng Malacanang, no? Not exactly in these words, no? But basically, it took some time for Malacanang to admit that there's a crisis. And they didn't create a crisis. The crisis came from the US, Iran, and Israel conflict. No? But it took in denial for the first 2 weeks ang Malacanang. Samantalang every other government in ASEAN, around the world, in Asia, were already pinoporma na nila yung mga contingency plans. Diba? That's why nga, nag-file ako, pero sinabi nila Senator Tito, SP, wag lagyan ng ilang days yung contingency plan ng Malacanang, and then afterwards yung Protect Committee, ako at mga staff ko nag-draft noon, para nga may pressure sa Malacanang na to deal with the economic. Okay, pangalawa, sinasabi nila importante yung impeachment, and sabi na, hindi namin papangako boto namin. Kasi nga, we have to do it sa ebidensya. So, panay ang tanong sa amin, so you will allow na lumabas yung ebidensya? Sabi, of course, that's part of our job. Eh, hindi namin job ay i-convict o kaya i-acquit na mag-a-act kami as prosecutors or as defense lawyers. Ang trabaho namin, mag-judge, no? And then, syempre, may magtatanong sa Blue Ribbon. Sabi namin, wala kaming specific target except yung katotohanan. Meaning, there has to be a way that the Blue Ribbon will not be used as a tool laban lang sa kalaban ng mga administrasyon, then mapagtakpan yung totoo. Of course, at that time, hindi ko pa alam yung main allegations regarding certain Malacanang personalities and going all the way to the top. Of course, marami ng yung Cabral files, yung by March ba, I think nandun na yung Marines, and then also yung Bersamin files. Basta't marami yan, no? So, basically, ang message ko was, malabo namang makabuo kami, pero it's always possible. So, ang pinapaabot lang namin sa Malacanang ay hindi na po feasible yung Tito Soto, Risa Hontiveros, Kiko Pangilinan, Lacson Group of 4, Gang of 4, na pagpapatakbo ng Senado because it wasn't productive anymore. Panay 2028 lang ang issue, tapos maraming pinagtatakpan, tapos hindi nakatutok sa pangangailangan ng tao. They didn't listen to me. So on May 11, we got the majority. Okay? Hindi namin alam na si Senator Soto mismo, si SP, nagpapasok ng mga NBI at mahigit na 20 ahente nakakalat na sa buong Senate. That's never happened before. They've always coordinated, stayed in one place, and then talked kung paano. Parang kay Senator Jinggoy, napakaayos. Actually, it would have been better kung pinayagan nila ako i-escort sa labas. But nakita nyo, maayos. So yung May 11, in hindsight, yes, makikita nyo na po mga kababayan na May 11, set up nila yon. May 13, sila naglagay ng full battle gear na mga NBI at mapapatunayan namin Senate premises po yon. So, ang point ko po, sila yung nanggulo ng nanggulo, yung 11 kakampi ang Malacanang, kakampi po ang NBI, tapos pinapalabas, ako at kami ang magulo. Clear na yon, hindsight ha. Even yung walkout, nung sila nag-walkout, 12, wala daw quorum. Nung nagka-12 sila, meron na biglang quorum. Nung sinabi nila, gusto lang nila magtrabaho, di ba? Nakita nyo naman po, hindi man lang nagbigay ng mga pangalan sila doon sa mga committee. So, paano nila sasabihin gusto nila magtrabaho? Tapos nakita nyo, nung sinabi nila si Senator Wing ay acting Senate President, unang issuance, work from home. Nung pumasok pa rin ang mga taga-Senado, ang sinabi, alas 10, umuwi na kayo. Hindi ba katawa-tawa yon, di ba? Yung sasabihin sa'yo, work, let's get back to work. Tapos yung unang i-issue is to work from home, then the next day, umuwi na kayo. 10 o'clock pa lang, pinapauwi na. Kaya nga sabi ko, mag-ingat si Senator Wing, kasi maganda naman future niya. Huwag ka magpagamit sa Malacanang at dun sa mga kasamahan mo. Yes. Kahit binibigyan ka ng high position. I'll give you the advice that someone I really respect gave me, which is, receive, don't grab. I didn't grab the Senate presidency in 2016. I didn't grab it in 2025. I didn't grab it in February 2022. But to God's grace, napunta sa akin. By the way, no, kung nakuha ko yon earlier, kasi di ba nagsama-sama Senator Coco, Senator Tito, Senator Frank Drilon, Senator Big Subiri. Alam nyo kasi sabi nila masarap maging Senate President. Yun yung reading between the line. Ha? Kasi usually tens of billions ang pwede mo ipasok sa budget. Usually yan, malaking mga discretionary funds ang pwede mo i-withdraw. Then of course, number 3 ka. So sa lahat ng mga ahensya ng gobyerno, basically you're a VIP there. Ang daming perks po ang pagiging Senate President. No? So when the 4 of them says na Alan, bumitiw ka na lang, huwag kang kumapit sa posisyon, no? First and foremost, nagulat ako na these personalities, especially Senator Drilon and Senator Coco, were staunch anti-Marcos personalities. Suddenly, Marcos na rin, no? I'll go to that later, but what's my point? Sila na-enjoy nila lahat yan. Ako, the day na tinanggap ko at sinabi ko sa mga kasamahan ko, I'm up to the challenge. Kasi nung sinabi sa akin ni Senator Loren, ikaw na, Alan, kumilos na tayo. Nagtanong muna ako, I went to Senator Cheese and said na, ako ba dapat talaga pa? But the day na tinanggap ko, I knew I will not be an ordinary SP. This isn't the usual, di ba, na first among equals ka, na malaki pondo mo. I knew, laban to ng katotohanan. And I was told already na linggo-linggo, sisubukan kang alisin, taging araw-araw. And I knew na grabe ang gagawin nila. Pero hindi ko na-imagine talaga na I knew they were gonna throw at me the kitchen sink. But I didn't know that pati yung kitchen itatapon nila. We knew na bubuhayin yung kaso laban sa iba sa amin, pero hindi namin alam na ganun talaga yung pressure na gagamitin. No? But the reason I bring that up, I wanted to emphasize, hindi kami nagkulang sa trying to build bridges. So finally, nung naka-first base kami, kausap namin ilan high officials, and then hanggang umabot sa Malacanang, we communicated that you can trust us in me, in particular, and the group, kasi nakausap ko na yung grupo. Gagawin namin maayos ang impeachment. Hindi namin papangako boto namin, but we will commit na we will listen to the evidence, we will view, we will hold it together with the legislative. Nag-commit din kami doon sa economic. Sabi namin, pagdating sa Blue Ribbon, sabi ko, kailangan lumabas yung totoo. Okay? So, hindi po kami nagkulang. So, yung 11, sa pagko-convince sa Malacanang na kalaban yan. So, the problem is, they kept on inching towards doing illegal and immoral things until we got to the situation we are in here today. So yun po yung basic context of how we got here today. But more important than the state of the Senate is the state of the nation. So let me go to that. Sabi nila po, yung hindi marunong lumingon sa kanyang pinanggalingan ay hindi makakarating sa kanyang paruroonan. Sabi nila, history repeats itself. So nung sinabing never again, nagulat tayo bakit again. But I think all of us, not only those who voted for the Marcos Duterte team, but even those who didn't, were praying and hoping maging successful dahil ang success ng administrasyon na to ay success natin lahat. Anong naging problema? Slowly and clearly, a pattern of corruption was shown. And then, nung sinabi ng Pangulo, mahiya naman kayo, lumabas po dito yung pinakamalaking corruption scam sa Pilipinas, involving trillions of pesos, including stolen money of at least hundreds of billions of pesos. By the way, si Senator Joel was one of those who first warned about it. So, kung ang sasabihin nila, paano naging Pangulo yon dahil he warned about it. Well, winar ng Pangulo, that was I think SONA ng 2025, but si Joel has been warning since 2023. To be fair, panahon pa ni Duterte, sinasabi niya na bantayan yung flood control sa Bulacan. So, what is the state of the nation? Remember when President Marcos Sr. was elected, he was very, very popular. No? I think he still is one of the greatest orators of the Philippines, and he knew our culture, alam niya yung damdamin ng Pilipino eh. At alam niya nung mga panahon na yon, when communism was sweeping the world, when there was the Cold War, and then it was sweeping Southeast Asia. And you know, if you look at Southeast Asia, it looked like a region na sigurado ang gera, with a conflict with Malaysia over, hindi pa yung South China Sea noon, yung Sabah pa. And then, iba-iba ang religion at iba-iba ang form of government, no, ng Thailand, Singapore and Malaysia had a problem. Thailand had a problem with its neighbors, di ba? Kaya kung hindi nga nagkaroon ng ASEAN, maaring naging war-torn ang ASEAN countries. But my point is, nagamit yung fear of communism, and then because from number 1 sa region natin, sa Asia, number 2 ang Pilipinas, then suddenly, number 2, number 3 tayo sa bottom, di ba? After, by the time na mag-EDSA revolution na. But the point is, ginamit yung economic crisis, ginamit yung class war, di ba? Yung oligarchs, yung control ng oligarchy sa Kongreso at sa ating ekonomiya, at yung komunista. So it was such a big fear that many accepted martial law, di ba? And that's how we lost our democracy. So by the time na we regained it in 1986, an Aquino had to give his life, and then there was a need of the people to march on EDSA in the EDSA revolution. So fast forward, EDSA 1, EDSA 2, EDSA 3, iba-ibang stories, but we continued to fight corruption, and there were different kinds of abuses. But what's happening now? Basically, what's happening now is for the fear that magkaroon ulit ng Duterte administration, kampi na lang tayo lahat sa Malacanang. Diba? That's why sabi ko, meron tayong Marcos pa rin.
Yes.
These are the loyalists from the start. And of course, the Dutertes and Marcos ran together in 2022. But you've always had those who continue the legacy of President Cory Aquino and one of our country's heroes, Senator Benigno Aquino. Yung, whether you call them Dilaw, whether you call them yung halo-halo, yung Laban, PDP Laban, all these political parties, Dilaw tapos naging pink because nga nagkaroon ng mga issues during the Duterte time, no? Pero nagulat nga ako na gumising tayo isang araw, dalawa yung kampo. Kampo ng Duterte at yung Marcos pa rin na nagsama na yung Marcos na rin. And nagulat ako because even the extreme left, even some of the extreme right, yung mga fascista at saka yung ibang mga katulad ni Senator Lacson na more rightist ang ideology, and then yung leftist ang ideology, yung dalawang faction nga nagkasundo eh. Mas mabuti yung mas extreme or yung affirmist, kasi kahit papano, nag-criticize din. But yung grupo nila Risa, Ontiveros, nila Ronald Llamas, talagang puring-puri na sa Marcos administration. No? So, naging Marcos na rin. So, nagulat din ako. People like Senator Drilon, people like Senator Coco. Because Senator Coco may tampo sa mga Duterte. So, never mind na lumalabas Marcos na rin. Ang importante, to prevent another Duterte administration. And I don't blame those who think that extrajudicial killing is a essential part of any Duterte administration. I don't take that against you. Yan yung paniniwala nyo. Iba paniniwala namin, iba tingin namin sa drug war, iba tingin nyo. But my point is this. In the same way that oligarchs, communism, and the economic crisis was used to lose our democracy, malayo na malapit na yung panahon na we're losing our democracy because of an economic crisis which is here, because of fear of another Duterte administration, and then because of the flood control na sobrang daming tatamaan sa ating lipunan.
Yes.
So, the moment of truth is coming, and I use it literally, the moment of truth. Ang issue ngayon, katotohanan. Democracy is also an issue, but the issue is truth. Do you want a Senate that will cover up the truth? So, pinipilit ni Senator Erwin Tulfo na mag-hearing sa Monday, even if we know that yung na bogus, peke, hindi totoo yung kanilang session, so hindi rin totoo na acting Senate President si Win Gatchalian at hindi rin siya totoong chairman ng Blue Ribbon Committee. Sabi sa akin ng media nung Thursday, Sir, anong ebidensya mo na ang Malacanang ay involved? Well, aside from sino pa ba pwedeng magpadala ng NBI ng 2 araw kung hindi Malacanang? Yung saan ba nag-meeting yung 11, hindi ba sa Malacanang din? O, but pangatlo, anong sabi nilang ebidensya? Anong sabi ni, di ba ang isda sa bibig talaga nahuhuli? Anong sabi ni former Senate President Tito Soto? ang naniniwala na kami ang majority at si Senator Win ang acting Senate President ay Malacanang House of Representatives. O, hindi, ikaw na nagsabi, Malacanang, kasama sa plano eh. O yun din ang sinabi ni Senator Win. Para walang gulo sa bangko, sa mga empleyado, tanong natin sa civil service. So, yun po ang sinasabi kong, guys, kung mahal nyo si Senator Win, huwag nyo sirain yung kanyang future. Saan ka nakita ng Senate President, unang gagawin, imbitahin yung SILG, yung Secretary of Interior and Local Government para ayusin yung peace and order sa Senate. May sarili tayong USAA, may contingent tayo ng Marines PNP, may PNP sa labas. Pag kulang yon, you can request the PNP. Hindi mo pinapapunta yung SILG mismo. Ngayon naman, ang magde-decide kung sinong Senate President, hindi rules natin, hindi konstitusyon natin, civil service. Sino ba nag-appoint ng Civil Service Commission? Malacanang din, di ba? So, napakahirap po. But I'll offer you a solution, Senator Win. Mag-meeting tayo, may naiisip akong solusyon. Mahirap umanap tayo ng solusyon kung sino ang tunay na Senate President. Kasi yung 3 libro na hawak ko ay nagsasabing yung legitimate Senate President, yung nahalal nung 13. No? By the way, guys, let me go to that muna na mabilis. Ito, sabi po sa Philippine Constitution, hindi lang to sa rules, sa Philippine Constitution, nakalagay po dito, the Senate shall elect its President and the House of Representatives its Speaker by a majority vote of all its members. Of all its members. Iba po yon sa sinasabi dito, a majority of each House shall constitute a quorum to do business, but a smaller number may adjourn from day to day. So yung a majority of each House and a majority of all its members, magkaiba yon. At sinasabi din dito po na, ito, meron po kasi dito yung about each house being able to pass its own rules, no? Each house may determine the rules of its proceedings. So kung titingnan mo ang rules natin, yung officers po, yung secretary, yung sergeant at arms, Senate President pro tempore at Senate President, 13 ang kailangan. Kasi all members. So, ang Constitution ay nagbibigay ng power sa rules at sinasabi po dito sa dalawa na kailangan 13. So, kung walang 13, hindi kayo tunay. Going back to yung hearing ni Senator Erwin, the 12 might want to rein him in even during martial law, even during the abuse of arrest, kaliwat kanan at yung mga torture. Wala pong high official na nagsabing, kwekwelyuhan ko yan, ako mismo, arrestuhin ko yan, etc. So, you know, it's incredible that you'll have a human being speaking like that. Kaya, sa sulat ni former Congressman Michael Defensor, dapat ang sagot namin ay simpleng, umattend kayo sa legitimate na Blue Ribbon Committee dahil yun ang may legal protection. Yes. Pero siguro, idadagdag ko dun sa sulat na yung ganun mental state ng isang senator tapos siya ang magiging chairman, yes, walang makakapag-guarantee ng inyong safety doon. At tandaan nyo po, tapos na po tayo doon sa 18 Marines. Kung gusto lang ipatawag ulit under Senator Marcoleta, pwede mag-attend sila Senator Win. Pero nandun pa tayo sa 2 o 3 witnesses na ang bibigat at may mga dokumento at talagang mayayanig yung ating bansa. Kaya po nagkakaroon ng ganito. Ang problema po, kaya sinabi kong malapit malayo. Every time that the truth is about to come out, wini-weaken yung instituto na Senate. Sabi ni Senator Lacson, sirang-sira ng Senado. Ikaw naman sumira sa Senado through false testimony witness using the Blue Ribbon laban sa ating mga kasama. So, etong mga kaganapan ng May 11-13, Malacanang ang may control dyan sa NBI, hindi sa amin. Tapos, iwa-whitewash nyo pa para sabihin wala ang mga NBI sa loob ng Senado. So, tama yung sinabi ni Senator Gringo. Pag armado ka at dapat nandun ka, wala ka doon at nandun ka, bakit papagalitan mo yung reaksyon? So, he was talking about yung mga panahon ng kudeta. So, kung may mga sundalo sa labas ng Malacanang, natural na magwa-warning shot ang mga taga-Malacanang, paalisin ka. So, ginulpi na nila ang isang taga-USAA, hinabol nila ang isang senador sa loob ng Senado. So, natural, nung pinaligiran nila ang Senado at they crossed over from GSIS into the Senate na naka-full battle gear, natural na magkakaroon ng warning shot. And then, ang sisisihin kami, hindi yung nanggugulo. So, the point is, these hearings, you know, you had your chance to have hearings. Ilang buwan naman kayo na hindi nag-hearing. Di ba? So, siguro, ang haba na ng sinabi ko, my point is, mga kababayan, who are we as Filipinos? So, I had to think about my role. Komportable ako sa pagso-soul search ko, sa role ko po in transforming the nation, sa role ko po bilang isang Kristiyanong may pinaglalaban. Komportable po ako, quiet life with family, building our city. Pero nung tinawag ako, step up,
Yes.
be with the senators, be our leader. I had to say yes. Kasi yun yung role na binibigay sa akin. I knew I wouldn't enjoy the perks. I knew na baka kasuhan muna, kulong, intimidate, offer. But kailangan ko lakas ang loob ko eh. I have to put my whole faith in God. Today, day by day lang ako nabubuhay. Day by day, Lord, anong pinapagawa mo sa akin? So, dun sa mga nagpe-pray for us, pati mga nag-open letter, I don't get offended. Tama yung sinabi nyo. Ang prayer ko should be, Lord, saan mo ako gusto at anong dapat kong gawin? So, I'll stop there, but you also have to ask yourself that question. Whether you're a doctor, you're a lawyer, you're a soldier, wala kang trabaho, barangay tanod, anong role mo? Definitely to pray. Pero ano sa pagkikilos? Pagpo-post, pagproprotesta, pagpapanood, kung ano nangyayari, let your voice be heard.
Nice.
Yung IBP, ngayon, nagsasalita pa isa-isa yung mga abogado. I mean, ang daming issues sa quorum, etc. But in electing the officers, kahit basta't marunong magbasa, majority of all the members, di ba? Kaya nga sabi ng Malacanang, nire-review pa nila Constitution. Ang problema, they're bending the law and they're bending the Constitution, which is weakening institutions. At kaya nga tayo napunta sa dictatorya during that time. So in one sense, malapit na tayo because we keep trying to hide the truth. Okay, ulitin ko ha. In one sense, malapit na po tayo kasi ilang institusyon na ang binaboy natin eh. Nandun na tayo sa Senado eh. And then, lahat ginagawa, hindi lumabas yung totoo. In the other sense, malayo pa. Kasi wala pa namang official declaration, etc. etc. Pero nagsusumula na eh. Basta't ikaw ay kalaban, actually matagal na simula yun, basta't ikaw kalaban ay kulong ka. Pero bailable yun eh. Ngayon yung non-bailable na ginagawa. At ang masama, dati lumalaban yung institusyon. So nung pinadlock ang Senado, nagkaisa lahat ng senador, at least more or less, no, na huwag nyo ipadlock yung Senado. Ngayon kasi, kapwa-senador pa ang kumakampi sa Malacanang. Diba? That's why, hindi ko na sinasagot isa-isa eh. Kasi nga, team cover-up between team ilabas yung totoo.
Yes.
Team independent versus yung team na ang Senado dapat kontrolado ng Malacanang. O sasabihin na, di, kasi kay Tito Soto or kay Win Gatchalian, maayos yung Senate. Maayos nga yung Senate kasi hindi nyo nilalabas yung totoo, tapos nandun kayo sa ilalim ng Malacanang. So, I continue to offer Malacanang a partnership, but check and balances tayo. No? So, weekend, Sunday time to think. So, wala namang problema, filean ako ng kaso. But for example, yung Tindig Pilipinas Kiko D, legacy ni President Cory Aquino is democracy. Legacy ni Senator Benigno Aquino is giving his life to fight for freedom and democracy. And then magpapagamit kayo sa Malacanang. Obstruction of justice. Sinabi na nung NBI, walang warrant na binigay sa amin.
Nice.
Sinabi na ng PNP at SILG, pumunta sila doon, hindi para arrestuhin dahil wala pa namang warrant. So, paano naging obstruction of justice at paano pinatakas si Bato kung wala namang warrant? So, let me address myself to Pico D and the other Aquinos, even to Senator Bam, no? Ang legacy nyo, democracy. Then Marcos na rin. So, no problem. Legacy din nila is against extrajudicial killings. So, yung ipaglaban nyo yun. Legacy din ng mga Aquino is to sacrifice for the nation. So, if your sacrifice is fighting the Dutertes, okay yun. Pero okay sa inyo babuhin yung Senado. Okay sa inyo, huwag ilabas yung totoo sa flood control. Eh, di ba, kaya nga, laban eh. Laban yung laban. Hiramin ko muna. Kasi hindi nyo ginagamit eh. Di ba? So, alam nyo naman, di ba, sa aktivista, ganyan, sa Duterte, ganyan, eh, kailangan neutral ako eh. Dahil senator judge din ako pa magpre-preside ng impeachment. Pero pera muna nung laban. Kasi paano pag wala nang lumaban para sa Pilipinas? Paano kung Marcos na rin? So, mga kababayan, let me end this way. Kung comfort lang po, sumang-ayon na po ako sa administrasyon. My life will be totally much easier, but I couldn't live with myself. Why? Life without a purpose is not living.
Yes.
Diba? You all have to consult your maker. Is this the kind of world that the Philippine Constitution wants? Is this the kind of world that the Bible tells us, the kind of Philippines we want? Diba? So, you might not like me. You might not agree with my politics. I'm not perfect. Some of you might not even trust me. And if I'm wrong, then tama feelings nyo. But what if I'm right? How many of us didn't listen to the science in 1970s? And what happened for 20 years? So what if I'm wrong now? You don't have to like me. My stay as Senate President is limited. But every day that I'm here, laban po tayo. So, hindi natin kalaban ang Malacanang. Pero kalaban natin kasinungalingan. Kalaban natin yung nagpupunit ng pahina ng konstitusyon. So, mga kababayan, tonight, tomorrow, let's say a prayer. But let's ask ourselves, who are we? Anong identity natin? Paano natin maitutuloy yung laban? Hindi pwedeng everyday may bagong issue na lang. Issue May 11, habulin si Bato. Issue May 13, NBI attack the Senate o hindi. issue ng walkout, 12 kayo, okay. Nung kami hindi dumating, 12 kayo, okay. Tapos, para hindi mapag-usapan yung testimony ng 18 Marines, magme-meltdown, magbabalistik si Erwin Tulfo. Tapos, para yun ang news. Tapos bukas, tapos tatakutin lahat ng mga empleyado ng Senado na bibit-bitin, kakasuhan. Ulitin ko yung sinabi ko sa media, lahat ng kapangyarihan nasa kanila. Ang nasa aming katotohanan. But despite that, I'm willing to tonight and tomorrow, we'll be thinking of a way. Paano po hindi maipit ang mga empleyado? Paano po na yung mga bangko masunod ng tama? Anong tamang legal remedies natin? On that aspect, we can talk and find a way.
Yes.
Pero when it comes to truth, ibabalik ko ngayon sa majority yon. You really believe what you're preaching about the flood control?
Yes.
You really believe na after putting to jail some to get the quorum, they won't put more in jail to get... Gagawin kasi 18 na lang ang senador para 12 convicted na. At pagkatapos nun, manipulate na naman yung numero at saka yung konstitusyon para palitan yung konstitusyon. Again, if I'm wrong, then baliwalain nyo lahat ng sinabi ko. I'm just one other politician telling you garbage. But if I'm correct, and I hope that I am not correct, then we have to put faith into our actions. Kailangan natin lumaban at kailangan natin humanap ng paraan para ipakita na hindi tayo papayag na muli pong ikulong ang ating demokrasya, na muling nakawin ang freedom ng bawat Pilipino. God bless you. God bless the Philippines.